Thank you. You're right. That is a tough issue. Mr. Zinke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And on your comments, one, you impact the states. So you know Montana, through either Bidenomics, which is inflation, or higher energy costs, in the last 3 years, has cost Montanans $28,000 on average a family. So that's how much EPA and the Bidenomics have cost. You said impact the states? I think we should look at that. So I got to ask up front, climate change. Have you ever read the 2017 multi-agency climate report?
No, I can't say I have.
You know, it's amazing that no secretary has. That wasn't my report. It just happened when we signed it. But no secretary has actually read the multi-agency definitive 2017 report. So let me ask you this. Since you're not aware of it, I'll just enlighten you. It has 200 models and 1,000 variables. According to the report, you can paint it as no impact or global nuclear combat, depending on the model. So I caution Mr. Secretary to be careful. Secondly, are you aware that China is the world's largest producer of CO2?
I am.
Nearly twice as much as the U.S.? Are you also aware that China, 90% of the plastic is in the ocean comes from 4 rivers in China? Are you aware of that?
I was not aware of that.
So when you talk about environmental justice, do any of these regulations have anything to do with the world's largest polluter, both on sea and land and in the air?
I can say that I am not basing our decisions or aspiring to be
Right,
China.
right, but you're globally conscious.
I am very
right.
globally conscious.
Well, I'm also conscious.
I want to be competitive.
Right, competitive.
Yes.
And that's a funny term. So competitiveness, as far as manufacturing goes, how important is energy cost to that?
Oh, it's very important.
Okay, so your recent rule that you did on mercury toxins, are you aware that targets Colstrip in Montana?
I'm aware
Page
that
80.
93% of our coal facilities will be compliant.
Page 80 is targeted.
Will be compliant with that rule. But the coal facility that you referenced, it is the highest emitter in the country.
It's at 99.8.3, I think, as far as toxins goes. And this rule that you put up, do you think it'll have an effect on costs of power in Montana?
Is this the mercury air toxics rule?
Yeah.
We've taken a look at, number one, I would say, for all of the rules that we announced.
So are you aware that energy costs will go up?
No.
About $1,000 a family.
No.
So you add $28,000 is what the Bidenomics has cost, and then another $1,000 a year. So where are you going to get the power?
Well,
when you take that offline, where are you going to get the power?
I think we just disagree with the $1,000 number, and I'm not quite sure the underpinning of the $28,000. But our analysis shows that rule will have, over the years, less than a 1% increase in energy cost. We've done specific analysis on the combination of the mercury rule, the
So are you saying that taking power offline will decrease power costs?
We don't intend to take any power
offline. So you know, Montana Power, I'm sorry, the Colstrip is a significant producer of power in Montana. You take it off, it's going to cost about $1,000 in there. And you say, well, cleanup. Since you're on the cleanup, and I do agree, cleanup's a problem. So what are you going to do with your administration's push on EV? The fact that 90% of the solar cells in this country go to some landfill that are past their life cycle. So does the EPA have a plan for that?
We do, and I will
So
say,
where's the rule for that? Because you have a rule to take down our power system, so we're less competitive, and you pointed out that we have to be competitive.
Well,
energy costs are, I can guarantee you, energy costs make America competitive. So when you take power offline and there's no plan to put more power or substitute the power, that's going to raise energy costs. That's basic economics. And when you say about we want to be globally competitive, labor costs, commodity costs and power and innovation. Those are the costs that drive manufacturing. We can't pay the same costs as China on labor, even though China is the largest polluter. So we're not going to be competitive on labor. The cost of steel is the same in Pennsylvania as it is in South Korea. Yeah. Where America's competitiveness is innovation and power.
I agree with
and
that.
when your administration and you attack America's power without having a reasonable accommodation and replacement, it's going to make power costs go up. And my concern from a Montana perspective is this. Montana gets a little cold. So when my co-op said we already have a power grid problem, and then when you're dictating where the power comes from in Montana, our power system itself can't handle it. So when winters become 20 degrees below zero, it's a little problem out there. And I can tell you, part of being upset is that D.C. doesn't listen to outside the Beltway. So when you put regulations that target our #1 power producer, and you know that China is producing them all the time. They're making new coal strips. They're the biggest polluter in the world, and yet we're focused on Montana in 20-degree winters. I get concerned. So do you share that same concern?
Well, I would say that, we're not targeting Montana, and in all honesty,
page 80, page 80 of the rule specifically targets coal strip. So you are targeting Montana.
Coal strip can make the same investments in controlling mercury that North Carolina does, that West Virginia does, that North Dakota does.
Are you an engineer?
It's the largest.
Are you an engineer? And are you aware that coal?
I am the administrator of the EPA.
All right, the plants were designed and manufactured during different periods. You realize that?
Yeah, yeah.
So you take one plant and say it's going to meet.
93% of the coal facilities in this country have magically figured out how to control mercury at a level that doesn't produce this toxic for our children. And I will tell you this, there are 4 years to comply with this rule. My folks have talked to the people at Coal Strip. We know that there can be investments that can be made to meet this rule. Coal Strip has said that they're going to be online through the 2040s. All we're saying is if you're going to be online through the 2040s, make the same investments that 93% of coal plants across this country
So you talked to Coal Strip on the record, and Coal Strip said that they can comply with this rule, with this toxin rule, and be competitive, and be in functions and running till 2040s. Is that what Coal Strip told you? Because that's what you just told the committee.
Our analysis shows that
did Coal Strip say, because you said...
I said we've talked to him. I said we've talked to him. We've engaged. We've listened.
And has Coal Strip said this?
Well, I don't know exactly if Coal Strip...
I know you don't know exactly because I have the notes from Coal Strip what they said. Exactly.
Well, if Coal Strip has been cheating the system this entire time...
So Coal Strip has been cheating the system.
Well, 93% of coal plants have complied with EPA regulations and will comply with this new MATS rule. Coal Strip is the highest emitting facility in the country. It's the highest emitting facility in this country. I believe that the children in Montana deserve the same protection.
Have you ever been out to Montana?
In North Carolina.
Have you ever been out to Montana?
In all fairness, this is a joke.
Have you ever been out to Montana?
You said you were going to invite me last year. I did not.
Well, you know what? I think we should go out, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to invite you to Coal Strip. Post haste.
Yes.
And you can explain how Coal Strip told you that they can comply with the mercury and they can be in business up to 2040 according to your testimony.
I didn't say Coal Strip said that they would do it. I said that our analysis shows that they can, and they need to be. And they need to be.
At what cost, sir?
Our analysis shows that it's a cost-benefit investment. That this is a cost-available technology that 93%, again, this is important, 93% of coal plants across this country are going to be shown to comply with this rule. Coal Strip consistently is the highest emitter in the country.
Does Coal Strip meet the Clean Air Act? Does Coal Strip also remove 99.6% of hazardous air pollutants, and are they in complete compliance with the American Clean Air Act?
Hey, listen, I didn't paint Coal Strip as a bad guy.
You just did.
All I said
All
I said was, in terms of the mercury air toxic standard,
I'll invite you back. But on record, you have said that Coal Strip has talked to you, and they can make the adjustments to be in business till 2040.
No, you've added a ton of words. I said that our
I'm not
agency has
sure.
engaged.
So what did Colstrip actually tell
Our
you?
agency has engaged with Colstrip. We are listening to the industry. Our analysis shows that they can make cost-effective investments to reduce mercury to protect children in Montana, just
And
like
that's your
North Dakota,
analysis.
North Carolina,
And does Colstrip agree with your
West Virginia.
analysis? Does
Hey,
Colstrip agree with us?
it appears
no,
to me that
because you
Colstrip-
don't listen. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Colstrip appears to be the only utility in the country that wants to continue to be the highest emitter of mercury and these emissions in the country. Those are the facts. Those are the facts.
Mr. Elsey?
They meet the fact is they meet the clear air standard. The fact is your new regulation no one can meet. The fact is that you are going after coal and you have been. The fact is you don't understand Americans' competitiveness.
Mr. Elsey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.